All right, hello out there. Welcome to my channel. And this is an educational channel. We check out great theories, discoveries, and concepts that be very impactful in your life in terms of improving your mental, spiritual, and physical health. But these are generally things that have been suppressed, things that you don't know anything about because there's too much digging required in uh, in a number of ways. One is that some of it is buried in because the powers that be don't want you to know about it, but some of it is just esoteric and um, requires a lot of kind of release of cognitive dissonance because it's difficult, not just esoteric difficult, but difficult on your addictions and your conditionings. It requires you to, um, you know, accept things that you disagree with and that you maybe even um, staked your reputation on what I'm going to be saying uh, as being wrong. You may even have a tattoo that um, goes against what I'm saying. And so how are you gonna accept that? You know, you got something like, you know, permanently on your body that if you reject it, you look like you're a dupe, you're a sucker. You fell for something at one point in your life, and now there's a monument to it on your body. So, nonetheless, if you are a truther, regardless of what kind of tattoos you have, you really have the obligation to change your belief systems in response to uh, very good evidence. So, this is a segment that is called the Q-tip of the spear, and we look at various podcasts that I've checked out over the last day or so in the info war. Generally, the tip of the spear people, in my estimation, and they chop it up, and then I'll chop it up a little bit, uh, just based on various musings that I had, and I don't really have any. One one that I do have is uh, almost just having to do with the ads. Um, Supplements and, you know, various detox methods, diet methods. Um, none of these things work. Uh, they all work in the short term, or probably most of them work in the short term. They don't work in the long term. Um, the only thing that works long term is getting yourself on the right diet. And if you are on the right diet, then you will naturally have perfect health and immunity. You will not get sick ever, and you will have boundless energy. You will uh, move right to your perfect weight and stay there without having to even pay attention to it. And you will probably live a very long life, and you will more or less choose the time that you die painlessly in your sleep, um, when you are at a ripe old age and you choose that you're about done. Um, you'll be able to have massive amounts of endurance, more than you could, superhuman amounts of endurance. Um, but you will get none of those things on the diet that the average patriot is on, your carnivore diet, your keto diet, or you're just mainstream, fast food and um, maybe low, or maybe even an advancement of that where you're eating, free range this and that, and you're eating not so many, preservatives and um, packaged foods with a lot of ingredients. Certainly is a step in the right direction. I guess that's kind of what I'm saying with the Patriot movement out there today is that you have made many steps in the right direction, but you got to keep coming. You got to keep coming. Maybe you're at the point where you're feeling better. Maybe you're losing some weight. Maybe you've gotten rid of some chronic illnesses. Um, Maybe you feel like you've had some detox, some evidence of detox, um, and so that's very good. And this is the Q-tip of the spear. These are tips that I'm giving to the Q followers and such like. And as a person who started waking up almost 40 years ago, and through and has learned the stuff the hard way, by a lot of trial and error, a lot of error, and a lot of alienation, and a lot of um, you know uh, just having to you know do what I'm just doing now, just talking till I'm blue in the face about something that I know nobody's going to listen to me. But I really hope that the truther community, as truthers, will be the exception to the rule. And that if anybody is out there that will actually listen to what I have to say, it would be you. So that's what I'm doing this for. Um, Now, I've gone into the proper diet in some of my other videos, especially the ones that are in the Cardio Maniac. There's one in the Cardio Maniac series that I discuss. I would be happy to go over that in a separate video if people want to hear that. Um, but I would just say that um, the potential of being on the proper diet is much greater than you think it is. If you think it's good that you only get sick once in a while, or if you think it's good that you're only 15 pounds overweight, or you think it's good that you're, you know, working out every other day, or yeah, it could be. It could be a very big step in the right direction. But if you really want to get peak health, uh, you can expect much, much more than that. You can expect superhuman type of results. Um, and all it requires is that you really have to doubt the hell out of everything that you've learned in the past. And you have to kind of uh, abstract and think really carefully about what a human being actually is. And then um, proceed accordingly. I don't mean to be vague about it, but because in other videos I'm not really vague about it. And I also recognize that maybe your body is different than mine. And so maybe my diet doesn't work on your body type or your, lineage type, but it probably does. It's certainly worth trying. It certainly works short term. You know, uh, y- you know, definitely a high fruit, um, low fat diet works like a charm in the short term, but it does also work in the long term. but there's no excuse for not trying it because it works like crazy in the short term. And if it's not going to work in the long term, then you just stop, and you'll be better for it, regardless of whether you revert back to where you were. But you have to eat just a boatload of fruit, breakfast and lunch, especially on an empty stomach, especially melons on an empty stomach. You have to eat large quantities by themselves, and then eat a minimal amount of fat, um, preferably no oils, um, one small avocado or a handful of nuts per day tops, um, and it'll work and work out every day. Okay, this was I think episode 32 of the Q-tip of the spear. Thanks for tuning in. And if you want any more info about this, I'm just kind of rambling about it because I didn't really have anything else to bring to you today. Uh, but I would be happy to talk about this at length. I do have other videos on the channel that are addressed to this as well, so you can look for those. Um, and thanks for tuning in today. Like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute. And we will see you tomorrow. Or actually, I'll have another couple videos here today. And thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.